Hi, welcome to the first episode of the Indus podcast series. Today, we're going to talk about SAP's toolchain, which can actually help you in your process, in your journey of where you are to kind of, transform your internal IT organization from on-premise or cloud to kind of, become AI ready. So today we have Tanya, who will take us through the session and talk about the different tools which are part of the tool chain, and also probably take us through a demo of the tools and how they can actually help you in becoming AI ready, and also where AI is being used inside of the tool chain itself. So over to you, Tanya, if you can just quickly introduce yourself and take it away.
Thank you so much. My name is Tanya. I have witnessed sort of the birth of Cloud ALM and also how it has evolved as a platform for application lifecycle management to implement SAP solutions, and also extending the capabilities with Signavio and LeanIX as part of the tool chain towards more insights for applications and also to processes in order to make them a reality with Cloud ALM as an orchestration platform. And that's exactly what I want to talk about today. I brought the latest news and information on this topic with me from SAP Sapphire that has just happened. And so now we've called it previously the integrated tool chain. Now we're calling it the agent-led tool chain. So you can I look forward to some agents that I want to show you as part of the demo. But first, let me start with why we want to have this tool chain in place. And that actually starts with different drivers and demands of organizations. First of all, there's internally driven obstacles or hurdles that organizations face when they want to transform their ERP landscape in order to grow faster, reduce costs, and move with agility. Then we have also identified some market-driven requirements in order to adapt quickly to changing market needs, to own the supply chain, and also to delight customers. And as a third topic, an IT-driven or tech-driven obstacles or opportunities to move fast, secure budget, lower IT costs, and own the own setup and landscapes. All of that supported by AI, and that's what we bring together, as you maybe have heard already, of the autonomous enterprise, with our different solutions for customer success, spend management, or finance, supported by the SAP AI platform that is part of, or Cloud ALM, Signavio, and LeanIX are also part of, among other solutions like SAP Build, for example. So they build the foundation in order for the autonomous suite to run. Now, if you want to get to Cloud ERP or an autonomous suite, that's why we came up with a whole bundle that is the RISE with SAP methodology. And this incorporates not only a standardized framework that accelerates adoption, helps you build a clear, credible roadmap, but also expert guidance from SAP, and also our partner ecosystem along every step of the way to help you guide you through that transformation. And lastly, the integrated, or as we call it now, agent-led tool chain that I want to put a focus on today. Now, let me go a little deeper into transformation and the hurdles we see for transformation. So there are some obstacles and reasons why transformation often fails. And that is, for people, it's a skills gap, or there's a resistance to change, or a natural how we humans like to stick to what we know, and loss of knowledge that we need to take care of as for a successful transformation. And then there's processes. where we have the risk of outdated processes, legacy dependency, and compliance issues. For applications, it's also legacy of systems, technical debt, or integration challenges that we face. And lastly, with the data that we need for a successful transformation, the data might be stored in silos, and data quality issues, data security and compliance. And I'm sure you're going to talk about that more in the next parts of the series as well. So this has come to some decisive factors and dimensions that are essential for successful transformations: people, processes, applications, and data. And if they stay in those silos, that means they're not well connected. And that's exactly why we want to bring them together for a holistic transformation, covering all of these dimensions in order to make a change, not only as a change, but as a real transformation, successful, covering all of these areas. Now, that is where our portfolio for transformation steps in, and how we distribute those dimensions across our methodology and how we bring that into the agent-led tool chain is what I want to show you with this slide. So first of all, I talked about the standardized framework beforehand that we have available as part of RISE with SAP methodology. In the first step, we want to discover and onboard, state the state of affairs, what is our current state of the processes, where we analyze the processes and the current landscape that we have for applications, for example. Then as the next phase, we want to make sure we modernize and run. What that means is for the processes and applications is that we look at the design and implementation of our changes and of the processes, and while making sure that we have data quality in place, also with, for example, test management in Cloud ALM, and all of that covered by value management throughout as well. As a last phase, but not as a third step, because it is a continuous step, and that's where maybe you have seen the continuous loop before, the unlimited sign, that line 8, it stands for continuous innovation. So the approach here is also to take small incremental steps, but to innovate continuously, establishing, if you will, this tool chain as a pipeline and as a workflow to go over this with innovations and changes in order to adapt, take small steps and adapt, for example, to market changes quickly. So that's initially what we want to do with that. And now taking a look at what is also part of the agent-led tool chain with business transformation. We are looking at the end-to-end orchestration of value-based business transformation and some continuous improvement on top.
Tanya, I'm not able to hear you. So is anyone else able to hear her?
Where business process management and mining play a big role, and then also how we have one view over business process management with the processes, but also the enterprise in view from the different solutions. That's how the tool chain actually really comes together. And then with application lifecycle management, we orchestrate implementation and make sure once we're running that the systems stay safe and stay on track, so to say. Now, switched the capabilities with the tools that are behind, and I don't want to spend actually much more time on this. We're going to have in the Outlook another look at the migration and modernization assistance that are also going to come soon. But now I'd actually like to go into the demo. And so with the demo, I wanted to include a small overview where we're going with this workflow. So first, we're going to start in Signavio in our discovery phase, where we analyze the process model. This is then taken over once it is complete. We have it in the explore phase, and we take the process model to Cloud ALM, where we have previously created a project, and now we can sync that process with Cloud ALM to Signavio, and then keep working on the implementation activities like creating library elements, creating requirements, creating test cases through the realize phase. Later on, we'll execute the test case, and we'll also create user stories, create features and transports. And then ultimately, we plan our cutover activities, and I'm going to show you how we can monitor and analyze some alerts in Cloud ALM with Cloud ALM for operations in the run phase. And so this is only a short overview that should help you keep track a little bit of the demo. Now, with that, let's actually dive in and see how this looks in UIs. So in this demo, I would like to show you how we can accelerate ERP transformations with the agent-led toolchain, including the solutions, mainly Cloud ALM as a focus on that, and then also some parts of SAP Signavio and SAP LeanIX. And we have also integrated as a partner, as a Solex partner, Tricentis for test automation. I'm not going to show that solution, but I'm going to show you where it comes into play with all the other solutions. So now let me switch over here and get started with our ERP transformation. So this is a transformation from ECC to S4. And in this example, we want to have a greenfield implementation. And so we start out with the best run score that is available in SAP Signavio. As a result of the plug and gain approach, we have gotten these best run scores. And as we can see here with the lead to cache, the blue one here, that is our lowest score, which means in lead to cache, it's only 23% of the processes that run effective according to SAP standards, and also compared to other peers of the same industry. So this is where we have the biggest potential, and that's where we want to start with. So we're going to start with Joule by fetching a credit management process that is part of this lead to cache entire end-to-end process. And that's where Joule can actually help us. I don't need to go into the depths of the lead to cache process, but I can have Joule fetch me this analysis, which brings me the exact model and the truth that I have in my systems as they are running. So for our organization here, this is how they run their process currently. And I can get the navigation from Joule as well. That helps me to navigate directly to the diagram preview. And I would have the option to view this in the folder in the workspace. Now I can see the as is, and I can use that for my future planning of the target process. So I'm going to get started with the best practice process since we want to do a greenfield implementation. I can also ask Joule to fetch me the best practice process for credit management. And so here I can again view this diagram in the model in a preview as well. I can do that, and now I can also start working with this model. So in order to do that, I know that I have to make some edits because this is a best practice from SAP, but we want to make it fit to our organization, of course. So we would edit with AI, and what I can do here is I can simply provide as a text as a prompt, I can give the input to Signavio, to the AI here in place in order to do the modeling. That means I don't have to use the process modeling, dragging and dropping the process steps, the connectors, but I will simply provide the text, what I want to have in there as a process step, and in which place this process step should go. And then the rest of the modeling is being done by the AI, analyzing the text and coming up with the changed process model for me then. So here I can see the steps that have been created. I wanted to include a pre-check so that I get an alert before a credit limit is reached. And now the sales representative can get a pre-notification when the customer exposure reaches 85% of their credit limit. Sales rep can contact the customer in order to let them know and avoid a block that the block is coming in and they cannot receive their goods anymore. So yeah, I can check the proposed steps as the AI has put them in. And once I'm done, I can save and edit. It's always ultimately the human in the loop who takes the final decision if this is a good proposal and we're good to go with that, or if we need to make some final adjustments and edit. So as a next step, since I've now created my new to-be process model, that's the process model we want to implement, I am going to sync it with Cloud ALM. So handing over this new golden process to Cloud ALM in order to work with that. And by looking at the process model, and of course it should look the same as it did in Signavio, and maybe you didn't even realize we have now switched the application. So now we've moved from Signavio to Cloud ALM. This you could only tell by looking at the left-hand corner, top corner, where you can see which solution we're currently in. So this is really meant as a seamless process in order to make this as a truly integrated tool chain and experience also happen. And now what I can do next in Cloud ALM in order to get to my goal to have this process actually implemented and make that become a reality, I can also get the help from Joule and ask Joule to suggest some library elements to add to these new process steps. So to refine the process further, I want to add the Fiori apps, and I can have Joule help me tell which Fiori apps match this process based on the input that we've gotten from Signavio. So now I get some proposals, and I can also use Joule to add this manage credit limit requests application. This Fiori app is then directly added to the process, and I get the confirmation, and I always have the opportunity to go have a further look at it. So next up, I can also create some requirements. And in order to do that, I will need to put in some more information. And that is done here via a transcript from a Fit to Standard workshop where we have held a workshop in Teams, for example, beforehand or via Zoom. And we can then use the transcript, provide this as a text, as an input to Joule. And from that, if we have covered it in our discussions, then this will bring up the different requirements that we have discussed and make a proposal. So in order to go from follow-ups that are taking weeks to finish, we can now have a much faster from days to a few hours way of working with Fit to Standard workshop input, and we get the list of requirements and can also always not navigate to the details to check them out. I also get from Joule 2 more proposals as next steps. I can create user stories or create documents. And so let me show you, well, first, how the detailed requirement looks in Cloud ALM as navigated from Joule there. This is the implement real-time credit limit check. And we see all the details like functional details and acceptance criteria. And now I want to show you how we bring this also together in Signavio. We have just created the requirement in Cloud ALM, but since these processes are synced and this is already available now, we can also review these requirements and also to the details in Signavio if we open that. So that's how we bring the different viewpoints in order to make the transformation holistic together. So from Signavio, you'll be able to see the requirements and also their status. And then as a next step, we'll also, this is also already available, see the details of a certain process and the related fact sheets as they are called in LeanIX. So I can navigate to a fact sheet and get all the information, for example, with the Relations Explorer that has the nice visual on how this managed credit limit request application, how that impacts other entities as well. So so if you want to look at it from like a triangle point, the endpoints being an application each, you will always be able to look at application lifecycle management from LeanIX as well to Cloud ALM, and then sharing from Cloud ALM the requirements with Signavio, and also information on processes, but also the applications and the landscape they refer to are connected to the processes from Signavio. So we get the whole transparency across the implementation as well. And now we're back in Cloud ALM, and I want to bring up Joule again to come back to that proposed action of creating some user stories for this requirement. So again, we have from the transcript, we have brought in the requirements, but also from the information that we've gotten via Signavio with the process. And based on all of this information that was brought in, Joule can now make a proposal for some user stories based on this. And we can also again go on. We've seen it before to create some documents. Now I want to create a functional specification document as well in Joule that will give us even more details on the technical implementation and what needs to be done. So this functional specification, I can also again have a look at and navigate there directly from Joule in order to sign it off and save it. The next step I want to take in my implementation is to create a feature. And here, Joule also helps me proactively because there are no features assigned to this requirement yet. I get a proactive notification and the idea from Joule to create a feature. So I say, sure, let's create a feature and also the transports for this requirement. And based on the contextual information I have here and all of the information provided before, Joule will create the feature and also a workbench and customizing request out of that. So everything I had to do before manually, and this is already available manually, the agents are in Outlook. I can do simply faster with the support of the agents and conversational. Checking the details, that looks good. And now I move on to test preparation as the test preparation manager. I can also call up Joule. And again, since there are no tests planned yet, there are no test cases created, I can get help from Joule to create the test cases. And again, here comes the big benefit of having all of the information of the requirements, the user stories before, the functional uh, document specification document in Cloud ALM as one platform. That's the knowledge we can access here in order to create test cases. And so I get those two proposals for an end-to-end test case for a credit management process, for example. And if I clear the scope, we can see that in Cloud ALM overall, we do have many, many more test cases. And not only the manual test cases I have just created, but also automated test cases can be executed via Tricentis integration with Cloud ALM. And that's how we bring those solutions together. Now, next, I want to make sure that my features and my transports are deployed to production. So I can also call up again Joule, please release the transports for this feature and deploy them to the test system. So we can then later execute our tests that we've just prepared. And I get the confirmation that the deployment is scheduled. And I will even get notified that this might take some minutes. So now I can check within the status. And as I can see, let me pull this up a little bit. Once the solution status is complete, I'll pull it up at the moment, but you can see it at the very bottom. We can move on, and I want to also already in the test stage activate some monitoring. I mean, activating monitoring early is just also a way of testing it. And so we want to do that. And I get some proposals based on my inputs before, what kind of monitoring would actually be recommended for me to use. So then I can configure this proposal and manually configure the monitoring, or I can also, with the configuration of proposal, Joule will activate the monitoring for me then taking this proposal. And then I can also navigate to reviewing the monitoring, and now the monitoring has been activated for me. And next, I want to go into the execution of my test cases. So I'm now with the tester persona. And here again, the tester persona can also get some help from Joule. To get an overview, first of all, Joule would suggest some test plans that are available, that are ready to test, and ask the tester which one they want to start. And I can pick from the proposals. I said I wanted to start with the end-to-end test for credit management process. And since the status is prepared, I can also navigate directly to this manual test case. And in order to execute, I would go through the different steps. There is with the manual test case execution, there's no specific support by Joule planned. But once I have done all of the testing and have gone through all of the test steps and I have executed them successfully, I don't need to set them individually to the status passed. I can ask Joule to do that as a mass maintenance for me. Now that that is done, we can check off the test management activities, and we are getting a notification that a job monitoring exception has occurred. So we have set up monitoring before, and this is as a result of that, this notification is brought up in Cloud ALM, where I can directly then jump to the details. I can check the planned start time and start and end time, and also dive deeper into the error and have a look at what happened there. I get an overview of the exemptions with the timestamp and also with a message what has happened here, that it was a missing authorization. And now let me actually see and test how Joule can help me analyze here as well. So I already spoilered a little bit that was the message is missing authorization, but that is also then with the analysis brought up by Joule, and Joule will not only tell me what this message says on the screen, but the actual benefit here is that Joule can help me get to the next step and get to the resolution of this issue. So we can create an authorization request directly from here, which will bring us to the maintenance team and where they can do the efforts. As a project lead coming towards the end of our project, I want to now check in on the status of all the requirements that we have brought into the project so that I can plan the cutover activities. So I can ask Joule to help me with that. And what Joule then propose is that there's two views where we can check on all of these requirements. That is the solution process traceability or the requirement traceability. And we can navigate to those views in Cloud ALM and have Joule take us there. So what we have now is the solution process traceability, where we see the status of all the requirements, user stories, project tasks, documents, test preparation, test execution in one overview. And if we do a filter then by our scope of ERP sales, that's what we've been working on, the credit management process as part of the lead to cash. We also get the result for this solution process and can check if we're on track or if there's, for example, a test execution that has failed. I would see it here as a one red stripe or indicator here. But everything looks good here. And that means we have completed our implementation project. So some weeks after, since we have also configured monitoring in order to run successfully, keep the solutions running, we get a notification via Cloud ALM to our inbox that a change point was detected. That means we have a deviation in our monitoring that is even better detected by the AI capabilities of this change point detection, then it would be able to humanly analyze this. But so since we have now gotten this notification, we can go into a deeper analysis, and a button from this email will take us directly to Cloud ALM and here to the real user monitoring where this change point has occurred. And since I am not quite sure what I want to look at here, I might not be sure if I'm not an expert, I can have the help of Joule analyze again for me what the issue was here. And what I get in this example is a even more extensive analysis of this issue, a drill down to what caused this, and again, I can create the follow-up task and take the next step. So as you can see in this report, we also get a very detailed explanation in text that it was a body that was changed and had caused this bigger response time, increased it significantly. And now the proposal is to create a follow-up task, and that's what we will do then. Oops, we've come to the end of the demo. Wanted to wrap up here real quick with creating the follow-up task. And the confirmation where we can actually also go to the follow-up task. If we're the responsible, we can directly take up that task. And that's how we connect also the run phase with the implementation phase, if you will, bringing Cloud ALM together as one platform to manage both. Right, with that, let me wrap up this demo. So you've just seen how we help accelerate ERP transformation with lots of agents in place, with helping with the manual activities that we can currently perform with Cloud ALM and implementations by creating requirements, creating user stories, and following through with quality assurance of test management until the run phase, as we've just seen, with the help of analyzing issues and solving those issues also along the way, and bringing that acceleration not only to Cloud ALM, but to the agent-led toolchain. Now, let me get back to the presentation. And there is more AI to come. And that is with, I would like to finish with migration and modernization. So the migration and modernization assistants that are planned for Q3 this year, they are looking at reducing the cost of migrations specifically. There is a system analysis assistant planned and several more, and they will be able we will be able to access them via a central engagement layer via Joule, and then these assistants will help orchestrate different agents in the background. So we have for the system analysis agent assistant, system analysis assistant, to help continuously build a customer-specific system knowledge backbone and giving other agents trusted and up-to-date insights. Then there's a data management assistant that turns fragmented data into governed cockpit for quality, usage, and remediation. We have a custom code assistant coming up that classifies, remediates, and modernizes custom code to accelerate clean core adoption. So helping with the custom code will, I think, massively help here. Then we have the configuration assistant helping with best practice target configurations, and a test management assistant delivering also the SAP guided transformation companion with end-to-end information aggregation, contextual decision support, and also a rollout assistant planned further in the future. So all of these assistants planned to make migration and modernization even faster, and we've seen some significant numbers here, up to 35% is what we have found out in talking to customers about this. So that's what I wanted to give as an outlook as well. And now recapping for the agent-led toolchain as part of SAP's RISE with SAP methodology. So the agent-led toolchain can help to combine the data and information that is needed across those dimensions of people, processes, data, and applications to connect this full view, a 360-degree view, if you will, of the transformation and the dimensions that help drive it, and to help you make confident decisions with comprehensive data-driven insights. For example, I have showed this with the plug-and-gain approach that we started with in SAP Signavio. And we can help to predict and manage change with a digital twin. If you will, you always have the overview of your process model, and that's what we work with and work towards with the implementation. And then we can also bring together business and IT for collaborative transformation. Ultimately, as I've showed you and as you've seen it with issue resolution, Cloud ALM run, and then also creating the follow-up tasks and bringing in business users as well in the process modeling and the IT implementation, and then with specifications and documentation that is then created along the way, building on the business input we have gotten before. So yeah, that brings me to the end of my presentation. So thank you for your attention, and if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me to tonya.kehrer@sap.com.
Thank you so much, Tanya, for taking us through the presentation as well as the demo. A couple of quick questions. In the demo, you're using Cloud ALM and all the Joule functionalities, right? So if there is a customer who's already implemented and using part of Cloud ALM as part of their landscape, are these Joule agents already available for them to use? And if yes, how do they activate that?
The Joule agents are also planned for Q3. So this is still in Outlook, and we're planned for Q3 this year. And then everything will come to, as Cloud ALM is also a SaaS solution that will be ready, available, and no additional work, to my knowledge, needed.
So, and you also shared how you can actually move process insights that you gain from Signavio directly into Cloud ALM. So that integration is already pre-built, or is that something that customers need to build it?
It needs to be configured. It is pre-built, but it needs to be configured to connect the Signavio and Cloud ALM tenants.
Okay. Maybe final question from my side, which is you showed how you can actually use Joule to create new functionalities, whether it is through the finding new Fiori pages or creating new functionalities. So is that also part of regular Cloud ALM, which is licensed and there's no cost for the customers, or does that require any additional licenses that they need to buy in order to activate that functionality?
Yes, those Joule capabilities will require AI tokens as well in order to use those.
Okay, super. That's all the question that I had. I think thank you so much for taking us through the presentation and the demo.
Thank you for your
Really,
questions.
really useful.
Very good questions. Absolutely.
Thank you.